Imagine a world where your ancestors were the absolute weakest creatures on the savannah. No sharp claws, no thick fur, and no massive fangs to defend against the deadliest predators in history. Yet, here we are. We didn't just survive, we became the apex killers of the planet. And we did it all with a single, unique movement that no other animal on Earth can replicate. We became the masters of the projectile. We evolved to throw. Why did humans evolve the perfect throw? It isn't just about baseball or javelins, it's the single most important biomechanical breakthrough in human history. To understand it, we have to look back 2 million years to a creature called Homo erectus. Before this point, our ancestors were mostly scavengers. They chased away hyenas or waited for lions to finish their meals. But about 1.9 million years ago, the human body underwent a radical redesign. The shoulder dropped, the waist narrowed, the torso became capable of rotation. Nature essentially turned our upper bodies into a biological catapult. Most primates are built for climbing and hanging. A chimpanzee, despite having significantly more muscle mass in its upper body than an Olympic athlete, cannot throw a stone with high velocity. Their shoulders are structured to endure the massive tension of swinging from branches. If a chimp tried to throw a baseball at 90 miles per hour, its shoulder would likely dislocate. But humans are different. We possess a unique elastic energy storage system. Think of your shoulder like a giant rubber band. When you cock your arm back to throw, you are stretching the muscles across your chest and shoulder. You store potential energy. When you release, that energy snaps forward in a fraction of a second. This is called the elastic recoil mechanism. It is the secret weapon that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. Researchers like Neil Roach at Harvard University have analyzed this extensively. They found that human throwing velocity is not just about raw muscle, it is about a complex chain of kinetic movement. It starts in the legs, travels through the hips, rotates the torso, and finally whips the arm through the air. This whip-like motion creates incredible acceleration. A top-tier baseball pitcher can reach speeds over 100 miles per hour. That is not just a sport, that is a lethal survival adaptation. Why did we need this? It comes down to one word: meat. A diet of tubers and fruit wasn't enough to power our rapidly expanding brains. Brains are metabolically expensive. They consume 20% of our daily caloric intake, despite representing only 2% of our body weight. To grow those brains, we needed protein-dense, fat-dense food. We needed meat. But hunting large prey is dangerous. If you get within biting distance of a wildebeest, you are probably going to get hurt. If you get within reach of a saber-toothed cat, you are dead. Throwing changed the risk-reward ratio of hunting forever. With a sharpened wooden spear, a hunter could stand 20, 30, or 40 feet away from a target. They could strike with lethal precision while staying completely out of harm's way. This transformed us from prey into predators. It allowed us to hunt in groups, using projectiles to tire out animals or bring them down from a distance. It turned the environment into an extension of our own bodies. This didn't just help us hunt, it changed our brains. Accurate throwing requires an immense amount of cognitive power. You have to calculate distance, wind speed, the trajectory of your target, and the timing of your release, all in milliseconds. This is a complex sensory motor task. It likely pressured our brains to develop better spatial awareness and higher level predictive capabilities. Every time a hunter threw a spear, they were essentially engaging in advanced geometry. By 500,000 years ago, we see evidence of sophisticated wooden spears found in sites like Schoningen, Germany. These weren't just sticks, they were aerodynamic tools designed for balance and flight. We weren't just throwing rocks anymore, we were engineering projectiles. But let's talk about the anatomy specifically. There is a bone called the humerus, the long bone in your upper arm. In early humans, we see significant changes in the humerus, indicating the regular use of high-velocity arm motions. We see the development of a deeper glenoid cavity, which is the socket of the shoulder, and a change in the way the collarbone sits. We were physically optimized for the overhand throw. Some scientists argue that this transition was so critical that it might have been the primary driver of our bipedalism. While we know we walked on two legs before we were master throwers, the ability to stand upright freed our hands. It allowed us to manipulate tools while moving. The throw was the final evolution of the upright ape. It is worth noting that we are the only species that can throw with accuracy and speed over long distances. Dolphins can toss fish, and archerfish can spit water to knock insects off leaves. But these are biological tricks, not precision athletic feats. We are the only animals that have evolved a nervous system capable of consistently hitting a moving target with a projectile. This has a dark side, of course. The same biomechanics that allowed us to kill mammoths also allowed us to turn that violence toward each other. The weaponization of the human arm is perhaps the most dangerous development in evolutionary history. Once we could kill from a distance, we could wage war from a distance. The spear became the arrow became the bullet, and the bullet became the missile. Our evolutionary talent for throwing has become the primary mechanism of human conflict for thousands of years. However, consider the social implications as well. Throwing is a group activity. You need people to drive the animals toward the throwers. You need people to craft the spears. You need people to process the kill. This enforced cooperation. The perfect throw wasn't just a solo endeavor, it was the glue that held early hunting parties together. It forced us to communicate, to plan, and to rely on one another for survival. As we moved into the Neolithic period, the importance of the throw shifted. With the advent of agriculture, we stopped relying solely on hunting for our daily calories. But the habit remained. It is embedded in our DNA. We still love to throw. We play catch in the park, we play football, we throw darts, we spend hours practicing a movement that once kept our ancestors from starving to death. It is a vestigial urge, a phantom limb of our predatory past. If you watch a child learn to throw, they don't do it naturally at first. They have to learn the coordination. They have to train their nervous system to align the hips, the rotation, and the release. This learning process is a window into our evolutionary history. We are hardwired to be throwers, but we have to unlock the talent through practice. It is fascinating to think about what this means for our future. We have extended our throwing range from 30 feet to thousands of miles with modern ballistics. We have used our ability to aim to put humans on the moon. Every rocket that leaves the Earth's atmosphere is just an incredibly complex, high-stakes version of a spear throw. We are calculating gravity, velocity, and trajectory, just as we did on the savannah, but on a cosmic scale. But we should ask ourselves, if we evolved the perfect throw to survive in a world of predators, what happens when those predators are gone? We live in a world where the physical act of throwing is no longer necessary for survival. We can buy all the meat we need at a supermarket. We don't need to hunt to feed our brains. Yet we are still trapped in these bodies. We are still the same biological machines that chased down megafauna in the Pleistocene. Our shoulders still have that elastic potential. Our brains still crave the satisfaction of hitting a target. Maybe that is why we are so obsessed with sports. Maybe it is why we keep pushing the limits of accuracy and speed. We are satisfying an ancient urge. The story of the human throw is the story of human dominance. It represents the moment we stopped waiting for the world to feed us and started taking what we needed. It represents the moment we realized that we didn't need to be the strongest to be the winner. We just needed to be the most accurate. We are a species defined by our ability to project our force into the world. We are the throwing apes. We evolved to reach out and touch our environment at a distance. And perhaps that is the most human thing about us. We are always looking for the next target, always calculating the distance, and always ready to release. Think about the next time you toss a ball, a coin, or even a piece of paper into a trash can. You are performing a movement that took millions of years of natural selection to perfect. You are using an anatomical masterpiece that allowed your ancestors to survive in a world that wanted them dead. You are participating in a legacy that spans from the dusty plains of East Africa to the farthest reaches of human ambition. The question isn't just why we evolved to throw. It is what we choose to aim at now that the survival of our species no longer depends on the spear. We have moved beyond the savannah, but the arm remains. The question is, as we look toward the future, what will be the next thing we throw? And will our aim be as true as it was when it saved our lives?